It was supposed to be a fresh start. Brina Clark, a hardworking woman with a daughter to care for, was looking to create a stable home. She and her two roommates, Montana and another man named Mr. Hall, had agreed to rent a house together. The idea was simple. They would all chip in and create a space where everyone could live comfortably. Brina, being the one with a child, would get the extra room. But soon, what seemed like a great plan turned into a messy dispute about rent, childcare, and unspoken expectations. It all began in March 2014 when Brina, Montana, and Mr. Hull moved into a house together. Brina had been juggling work and childcare, and her roommates, who were both unemployed at the time, agreed to help take care of her daughter. In exchange, they would split the rent. The amount of $2,350 was due for the first month, which included a security deposit and rent. Brianna's roommates didn't have money up front, so Brina ended up loaning them the money for the deposit and the first month's rent. They agreed it would be repaid later. However, as time passed, the arrangements became unclear. Montana and Mr. Hall were starting their own business, which didn't generate a steady income. So they spent a lot of time at home, taking care of Brianna's daughter while she worked. But this arrangement wasn't without tension. Mr. Hall began to feel uncomfortable with the situation, especially when Brianna's boyfriend started spending a lot of time at the house. He didn't feel it was healthy for her boyfriend, who wasn't the father of the child, to be hanging around all the time while he and Montana were effectively doing most of the childcare. This disagreement caused a strain in the relationship, and ultimately, Montana and Mr. Hull decided to leave. But not before a lot of drama unfolded. Brina had put in a 30-day notice to the landlord, but when she realized Montana and Mr. Hull were leaving, she canceled it. This led to confusion about whether they were still responsible for rent, as the situation quickly spiraled into a series of miscommunications. As it turned out, Brina was expecting payment for the rent from her roommates, while they had only paid a partial amount. They hadn't fully repaid her for their share. Montana and Mr. Hull didn't think they owed her anything, especially since they had moved out early. They claimed that since they had been taking care of Brianna's daughter, that was their contribution to the rent. But Brina argued that they still owed her money because they hadn't paid their full share for the months they had lived there. Things reached a boiling point when the issue of missing change less than $10 came up. Brina accused Montana and Mr. Hull of taking it, which led to a heated argument. This small dispute only added fuel to the fire, and eventually, they all agreed that they couldn't live together anymore. The situation became so strained that they decided to move out. But the issue of rent wasn't settled. Brina demanded that Montana and Mr. Hull pay their portion of the rent for May, but they refused, citing the tension and arguments that had escalated. Montana and Mr. Hull argued that, since Brina had agreed they wouldn't have to pay rent once they moved out, they were no longer responsible. However, Brina disagreed, claiming they still owed her money for the time they had lived there.